Welcome, beautiful yogis, yoginis, people, humans, us that struggle so much with life and yet enjoy it, hopefully, just as much. Taking decisions, for me, has always been quite the challenge. Deciding, how do I know if it's the right thing, if I should do it or not? Over the years, I've learned to have a few different tricks. One of them was to pretend that I am the Buddha. No, the Buddha wasn't such a saint. He also did things that I don't know if I would do or not. For his spiritual growth, he left his wife and kid and went to solitude to work on himself. Sure, he served all of humanity, and eventually the wife did join him years later. But the point is not that he was the perfect human being, but finding someone that can be your idol, not idol as somebody you worship, but more of as a symbol. You can even call it your Purusha, your ideal self. And imagine that every moment, whenever you're about to take a decision, that you are making this decision as if you were your Purusha. Well, you are. You're just covered with some prakriti. You're just covered with some material things, such as the mind, that add thoughts, add ego, add desires, add aversion, and cause us to not always take the right decisions. This means that if I'm about to say something, do something, I can imagine and ask myself, what would this ideal being for you? What would this Purusha, this Buddha, this Jesus, it doesn't matter who it is for you, right? What would they do in this situation? How would they behave? What would they think? What would their ideal response be? And when you do it that way, it forces you to stop for a quick second before you take an action, especially important ones. And you contemplate putting yourself in their shoes, in their eyes, in their mind, in their consciousness, so that you can make a healthy decision. Patanjali, from the Yoga Sutras, he talks about klishta and aklishta. He doesn't quite say these are the way you take a decision. What he does say is, these are the ways that the mind functions. These are the way we have thoughts. Some of them will be beneficial, and some of them not so beneficial. I'd say the same thing goes for decisions. They're thoughts, they're ideas. Some of them will be good ones, and some of them not so good. My brother claims there are no bad decisions, and I understand where he comes from. The idea is that at the moment, at this particular moment when you made your decision, you have taken the best decision you could within the limited mind that you had. Your mind observed the circumstances, the situation, and did whatever it seized to do, whatever it considered to be the best decision, the best thought, the best action, the best response. I'd add to that this klishta and aklishta, right? And if you try to look at many different translations, comments on the sutra, you would find that some say harmful, not harmful, beneficial, not beneficial, painful, not painful, etc. I would say that the beneficial one, the helpful one, needs to have three things for it to work. First, it should be beneficial to you. Beneficial to you, you're growing, you're smarter, you're healthier, your body feels better, you're happier, you're more in love. Beneficial for everybody else. This means you cannot do something selfishly just for your own sake and sacrifice others. You cannot just try to get laid while hurting another human being. It must be that it's good for you and good for them. Not because you think so, but also because they think so. So hopefully it's something that doesn't hurt anybody else or anything else, and is good for you as well. It's not hard to do, right? If I'm healthy in my body, I can teach better yoga for other people. If I have a clearer mind, I can teach more about the mind and how to have clarity and purpose. If I'm falling in love, and ideally it's mutual, we're both going to be, at least for a while, in a beautiful high. The third, after making sure that it's good for me, good for everybody else, is making sure it's sustainable. I could easily drink 2 bottles of wine right now. I'm lying, I couldn't do that. But let's say I could. Maybe I would feel good. I'd feel loose. I'd finally have the guts to go to the woman that I'm so in love with and I never have the guts to talk to. And right, this is what happens to many people. They get drunk so they can finally be themselves without all the barriers that their mind puts. They can become more open, more social. They can talk freer, maybe find love, maybe do other stuff such as forget the day, forget the hardship, forget the stress. That's not sustainable because for a moment we feel better. We feel like we forgot our worries. But then tomorrow morning we wake hungover, or even tonight while I'm intoxicated, I'm not behaving in a way that's good for everybody else. I'd say sustainable not only for tomorrow but for the long run. The Native Americans used to say that you had to think 7 generations forward. I think that's a great number, though why stop there? Why not think in general forward? Right? So if you're cutting trees to build something, can you make sure you're planting others or supporting the environment in any other way? If you're taking care of your health and you're working out, you don't want to kill yourself today that you'll get injured and then not be able to practice for the next few months. If you're working on the mind and you're trying so hard to meditate, you're going to create more resistance than benefit. If you're thinking about yourself and your family and how you can take care of them, but it's at the expense of other people, it's at the expense of hurting others, of hurting the environment, then ask yourself, is it really sustainable? Because the sustainability as well needs to work for you and for everybody else. So once you've found your decisions or your options, you check, is it good for me? Good for me in the healthy sense. Is it good for everybody else? Definitely the people close to me, but also others. And is it sustainable for me and for everybody else? So you have these 3 things, and then you can know whether it's klishta or aklishta. Klishta is the painful, the harmful, the not good one. The aklishta is beneficial, is good. A in Sanskrit negates. So it's the non-painful one, non-harmful one. It's the sustainable one. These are the decisions, the functioning of the mind that leads us to getting closer and closer to enlightenment, to being better human beings, to transcend our human limitations. We can, if we are aware, make the right decisions, practice aklishta, so that we are happy, so that we live with less regrets, and we support everything and everyone along the way. This also happens because we understand that our mind and its functioning that is aklishta is oftentimes more mind that is closer to the purusha, closer to the, some people like to call it higher consciousness. I'd call it the expanded consciousness. The consciousness that is not functioning only because of our limited egoism. It is the consciousness that is not only thinking about avoiding pain and receiving more pleasure. It is the consciousness that takes the right decision because it understands that any decision I take right now is going to affect everything and everyone. We are all part of the same cosmos, part of the same energy, part of the same existence. So why not love and respect everybody and hopefully not only the way we would want to be treated, but what could we do, even if it's sometimes at our expense? Take action that will benefit everybody else. The people that really are considered saints are not those that only thought what would be good for me, but are the people that really said what's good for the others, even if these people didn't do the right thing for me. I'm not saying don't have boundaries. I'm not saying don't think intelligently. But I am saying step just a tiny bit away from only thinking about yourself. And let that lead your decision making. Let that be part of your living in aklishta, part of your transcending the limited, selfish mind. May we all live happy. May we all be free. May we all find ways to take care of ourselves while caring for others. Please, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. How do you see klishta and aklishta? How do you take decisions? Do you find yourself regretting your decisions? What would you recommend us to do? Not tell us what we should do, but recommend from your experience and own it that it's your experience. How can we all become better, think better, act better, so that we really are all living in harmony, in peace? Thank you all. Namaste.